everybody, Elizabeth Statlander, marriage and family therapist, mental health counselor, getting straight to the point on mental health and relationship issues. This is part 3 of understanding the narcissist. And this segment, we're going to really focus on what is it like to actually be romantically involved with a narcissist. Not good. I tend to see quite a number of lovely people in my office who are, just absolutely emotionally spent because of their marriages and romantic relationships with a narcissist. One of the things that is very, very hard to digest for the partner of a narcissist is the fact that when you're dealing with a narcissistic partner, you can never really deal with normalcy. And so what happens is when you're trying to get your needs met from a narcissist, which will either never happen, or if it happens, they'll be putting on a show to just keep you wrapped in there for a minute, but it'll never maintain itself. It's daunting because when you're with the narcissist, your points of view and your feelings will really never be acknowledged. Not genuinely anyway. You can write them letters, you can cry, you can scream, you can jump up and down, and the shell of the narcissist cannot be penetrated. Not in a genuine way, and not where they really can empathize or understand where you're coming from in general. So being married to one, or living with one, or being in a relationship with one can be extremely stressful. Narcissists, because they feel so insignificant, and they're trying to con everybody into believing that they're significant, they talk about themselves and their ideas and their ways continuously, almost in a preaching way. They're always preaching and lecturing and telling everybody what to do and how to do it because they know everything. And they're really not interested in what their partners have to say or what anybody has to say. They only want to talk about themselves, hear themselves talk, and are terrible listeners. The worst listeners on the planet are narcissists because they're just, again, always thinking about them and their needs. So if you're on the other side of that, you just feel like banging your head against the wall because not only are your feelings being dismissed, not acknowledged, but they're also and they're falling on deaf ears, and not being listened to. So it really the narcissist will then flip the script on you and manipulate and flip the whole conversation onto you being the one who did something bad and wrong, and they're the victim. Yeah. It's not fun. So you could think you're having a reasonable, rational conversation with your partner or your boss or whoever the narcissist is, and you think you're making sense, and before you know it, a tornado just zoomed in to the conversation, turned everything upside down, flipped it all around, and now you're the person that's at fault for everything. This is what it's like to be on the other side of the narcissist. And I get the question from a lot of people, is there any hope? Can narcissists change? Can they ever get better? And it's a hard question to answer. I did focus a lot of my research on the cluster B personalities and narcissism when I was in graduate school, and I didn't really come up with any great answers for that question, which I get asked probably daily. Because narcissists never think they need any help, they're not really that often admittedly in the mental health system. So we don't really have anything to base a lot of numbers to base our research on. So the only thing we can base our research on is what comes into psychiatric facilities. And we all know that there's tons and thousands of narcissists all over the place that will never go into a mental health facility, that never get counted in any of the statistics. So we don't really have a lot of research to say, yes, they can be helped, or no, they can't. But thus far, and from my personal experience, narcissists are very, very difficult to help and very, very difficult to penetrate even in therapy. It takes a long time for narcissists to feel comfortable enough with the therapist that they could actually start speaking truthfully. So I think it really takes a very talented therapist to be able to work successfully with narcissists. And even then, I don't have the numbers or know how successful that is or isn't. But the research we do have is not looking good for the narcissist. So, my recommendation for people who are in romantic relationships or any close relationships with narcissists, of course, you first always want to come in and get professional help first. And if you're not in my area, and you can't get into my office, there's other therapists in the world that know a lot about this, where you can always do a phone consultation or video consultation with me if needed. But you always want to check in with a mental health professional before you diagnose your partner, before you diagnose your child, before you diagnose, because a lot of times, you're just reading things on the internet and you're not really accurate. So you really want to come in to see a professional who really understands personality disorders and can really help you determine if that is correct, that is what you're dealing with. And if indeed that you are, we can try to give you some ways of coping and handling it. But ultimately, narcissists don't make very good husbands and they don't make very good partners, because the person on the other end will always wind up feeling like they don't really matter, they're not good enough, and their needs are not that important. So but I try to remain hopeful for everybody that walks in my office. But if I'm getting straight to the point here, try not to get involved with a narcissist, because the future is not going to be easy for you. So that's part 3 of the narcissist. Tomorrow we're doing borderline personality disorder. Don't miss it.